So now we're going to look, we are going to look through lesson plan number 3. This is lesson plan 3. And as in informative data, we have the school name, which doesn't apply. The theme for this lesson plan is going to be tech users and common habits. The date for this lesson, November 27, 2020, and this is for the first Bachillerato General Unificado. And the duration of this class is going to be only 45 minutes. This is for an A2.2, which is an elementary English. And the lesson designer, it's me, Maria Jose Vinuesa. And we have some of the objectives, which we're going to go through them right now. Students will be able to first listen. They will need to hear the teacher's instructions, which is that it's very, very important. And of course, listen to the grammar and the vocabulary words, synonyms and antonyms. The speaking part, they will need to describe tech vocabulary in different expressions. They will need, for the reading part, they will need to read synonyms and antonyms, and they will need to read a word bank about technological instruments and the vocabulary. For the writing part, they will need to create their own ideas about the technological aspects, and they will need to write the meaning of some words using antonyms and synonyms. So for the methodology, here I'm going to be using the direct method and the audiolingual, also the total physical response method. For the strategy, I'll be using the whole group classwork, the whole class, and a pair group. For the anticipatory set, here the students will see a slide presentation about technology, and here the teacher will compare before and after we have technology. So here, students will see a presentation, and they will see the before and the after we have technology. So after they see those images, they will be able to see what is the topic is going to be about. For the fifth, it's going to be main teaching input. Here as a warm-up activity, the whole class, we will play hot potato. We will ask each student about what kind of tech user are you. So we will be playing with a ball, and everybody has to pass it on, and once you get to hot potato, the student that has the ball has to say, answer the question that I'm proposing here for this little game. Well, and after that, I am going to demonstrate some examples to students and the vocabulary words and also words that have the same meaning and the opposite meaning as well. That's why it's synonyms and antonyms. And we're going to repeat this activity maybe 2 times. So that's going to be an audiolingual. And we're using the other audiolingual method. After this, students will hear and look at some images. They will have to match them with the correct sentence. And here I'm going to be checking the students if they need some sort of help looking at the images. They will need to match them correctly. And I'm going to be checking and walking around if they need more support. Here, the students will share with the teacher and classmate their answers to see if they completed the task correctly. Like I said, I'm going to be checking if they completed the task correctly, and also they will need to share it with other classmates, the previous activity. And as a whole group, or maybe as a whole class, we're gonna brainstorm some different ideas about technological habits and how people have when they communicate. Well, that's the technological part. What habits do people have nowadays when they communicate? And they students will need to give me some ideas, or we will have to brainstorm ideas and place them in the whiteboard. Um, like I said, we're going to use the whiteboard to gather all the ideas together, and maybe make some conclusions about the topic. Maybe have some discussion about the topic if we have time. And then as a closure, we will need to have some final thoughts about the topic, and we will also briefly review some synonyms and antonyms in the word vocabulary. And here, since we said we're going to read in the book, we have a part where they need to read and construct their some sentences about synonyms and antonyms as well. So for the modeling part here, the teacher will model students with proper pronunciation of the words, and also teacher will reflect the information about topic to students. The teacher will give his example first in order for students to understand what they need to do on the activities. So like I've been mentioning, most of my lesson plans, I'm going to be giving them the example first, and then students can be working after that. Pronunciation is also very important in all my lessons, and I think here also is very important for the student, for me, model the students first with the correct pronunciation of the words. As a guided practice, the students in pairs will look at some images on page 76. Like I said, we're going to be looking to some images at the beginning of the lesson, and be working on their textbook. They will need to match the correct sentence with the correct image, and I'll be checking the answers, and I'll be happy to guide all the students with all the tasks, all the activities that they have. And also we have the brainstorm ideas. Like I said before, we're going to be doing some brainstorm ideas that we're going to write down in the whiteboard. As an independent practice, the students will need to share the ideas about the topic. They have to think and provide to the class some ideas that they have. They will need to also compare synonyms and antonyms, and the students will complete series of activities that require speaking. In this lesson, it's going to be very important, like I said, the pronunciation of some words, and they will actually need to speak a little bit more in this class, in this lesson. They will need to share and communicate their own personal thoughts about the subject, and students are sent home with a homework where they need to read and complete page 77 in activity 5 and 6 on their books. For the assessment, the teacher will assess student using synonym words and antonym words. I'll be assessing the students. They will need to raise their hands also. That counts as a participation. And teacher will ask if there was an antonym and why. I'm going to be asking some random questions during the class. In this case, is this an antonym or a synonym word? And why do you think it is? Some of the words have the same meaning, some of them they have opposite meaning. So I'm going to be checking on the students and their answers, and that'll be considered as an assessment. For the closing review and the follow-up, the class will end reviewing final thoughts about the topic and a short summary of what are the words that are similar and what are the words that are opposites in meaning. So as a closure, we're gonna briefly look through the topic, and also I'm gonna be checking if students have any more questions or if they have any doubts, or maybe they didn't understand something. They can also, in the closing, they can ask me questions, and I'll be glad to answer them back. So that would be for lesson number 3. And here I have the materials that I'm going to be using. Like I said, I'm going to be using a slide presentation, a short presentation about the before and after technology. They will need to look at the images and tell me what did they see, if they have an idea, how was technology before and how is nowadays. We have Realia, which is, we have the whiteboard, we have the ball that we're gonna use as a warm-up activity, playing hot potato. And then of course, we're gonna use the textbook as a supplementary material. We have the textbook and some of the activities that are proposed in the textbook. So that would be all for lesson number 3. Thank you.